Oh, Jesus.
He's not going to help you.
Yeah, I'm beyond saving anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'll go to hell anyway. So.
I'm sure.
Let me
You're a good guy. You'll be okay.
Turn on YouTube in a second.
What are you turning YouTube on? Oh, you're turning YouTube on. I get it.
Hello, yeah. Hello, people. Welcome to Main Event Boxing Talk. We're live. Hello, Spencer. How are you?
What's going on? I'm all right. And yourself?
Yeah,
I'm
good.
doing
Happy
well.
Thanksgiving to you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and you too, and to everybody out there.
Yes. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Right. Let's start before Tom gets in his singing, dancing, Bill Cosby motion. Munguia stops Corey in 3 rounds. Did anybody watch this?
I did.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It was expected, right, Spencer?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't kind of sure of what this guy was going to do. Like, I didn't expect him to give him too much. Didn't Janabek get rid of him in like 2 rounds or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is just like a comparison fight to see how he does against a similar opponent to the guy that he's supposed to be facing. I know we're going to talk about that later on, but it was impressive. I think Munguia gets hit a little bit too much because this guy shouldn't have been able to hit him like he did, even though it wasn't really hurting Munguia. He still was able to tag him a few times. That was, like if he's in there against the other competition, hitting him like that, he might not have so much luck.
Did you notice how much bigger he looked?
Yeah.
He looked like he's a super middleweight.
He looked like a light heavyweight almost.
Yeah, pushing into it for sure.
Yeah. He's a big guy.
That could be why he could take a lot of these punches at this weight, because when he balloons up like Canelo does, and Canelo did,
he has a high work rate, so it's not like he's only getting hit and he only like picks spots. He works a lot. So
yeah, he does, but his defense needs some better work, especially
that's that Mexican style.
Yeah, block punches with your face.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on to our next thing. Anthony Yard stops Koikov in a warm-up match in 3 rounds. This was the usual kind of Anthony Yard performance. It was a good finish, but again, he was getting tagged with silly shots.
Well, we knew that, right? Right, Spencer?
Yeah, it's similar to what we was just like. He was supposed to win. It was a tune-up fight for greener pastures in his next fight. He definitely should have not got hit as much as he did. Like I don't know, like you would hope that the trainers see this guy at this, like see these guys and they like, all right, they're not like Yard's not ready for Beterbiev. Munguia might be ready for Zanabek because Zanabek's last performance didn't look that great. But like you should be able to assess like, okay, these guys really aren't ready to be taking on these champions.
Nope, they're not, and that's for sure. But the hype is there.
Munguia is a bit different because at least he's proven he can win a world title and he can win under pressure.
And he was a 154-pound champ. He had like wins against Liam Williams. I think Anui.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's a better boxer. He's a better boxer than Yard.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's definitely a better boxer.
But Munguia hasn't reached his peak yet. We haven't seen the best of him at all.
Yeah, I think Beterbiev is going to get rid of Yard in like 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah, I don't rate Anthony Yard at all. He's not very good. He's got great offensively. He's as good as anyone, but his downfall is his offense, is his defense.
Well, that statement is offensive to me. No, I agree.
Yeah, it's great having all the best shots in the world, but if you can't defend, then what's the point? You've got no chance.
Yep.
Eventually, you'll be exposed.
Yeah, because those guys are used to getting hit with hard shots. Like it's not like Beterbiev hasn't got hit with, he been in there with Joe Smith, Callum Johnson, Marcus Brown. Like these guys hit, I think, just as hard as Yard does. And
If not,
they're a
if
little
not
bit
harder.
better than Yard.
Callum Johnson, right? The only alarming thing is Callum Johnson was able to knock him down, obviously, and
Yeah.
some would say that he hits harder than Callum Johnson, but his defence is not as good as Callum Johnson. That's the difference, He hasn't had the Callum Johnson. These are the sort of fights that Yard should have had. The guys against, like the Guglionis, who's the other guy?
Yard. I agree. Yard should have been fighting guys like Barrera
And Craig Richards, people like that.
Yeah.
I can guarantee if you put him in there with Joshua Buatsi would walk straight through.
Yeah, I think Buatsi's a step above Yard at this moment. I'm not like that impressed with Buatsi. I don't think he wins a world title, but he's a tougher challenge for the guys when he faces him than I would think Yard would be.
He is good enough to win a world title. If Nathan Cleverly and Jürgen Bremer can win versions of titles, then these guys can. It's just a tougher era. It's just a different era. I'm
just like looking at the landscape presently. I don't think. I mean, if he gets a shot against like for a vacant title against somebody like an Anthony Yard level dude, then it's possible he could definitely get a title.
All I would say is that Joe Smith Jr. would walk straight through Anthony Yard, in my opinion.
Well, we'll see, because that damn beating that Beterbiev gave him might.
Yeah, but Joe Smith Jr. is tougher than Yard. I know he is, for a fact.
Well, but Beterbiev rattled him, but it didn't go many, many rounds where he took tons of punishment. So don't underestimate Joe Smith coming back and beating a bunch of these guys.
Joe Smith Jr. would beat these guys. That's what I'm saying. He would beat the Buatsis of this world. People like that. He's got a lot of experience,
Yeah, he's been on the biggest stage more often than a lot of these other guys.
Right,
I wouldn't mind seeing Joe Smith versus Callum Smith.
Yes, that would be good.
Callum Smith, I think Callum Smith is the best light heavyweight in the UK by miles.
Agreed.
Yeah, based on his performance.
If the people are Callum, Buatsi, Yard are the top three, then Callum Smith is definitely heads above those other two.
He's leapable. We know he was a world class fighter at super middleweight. We know what he can do. The others just haven't got that experience. Him having that 7 years in the super middleweight division gave him all the experience he needed.
And he's probably at a more comfortable weight now.
Oh yeah,
much more. His combinations and his power look really good.
Right, let's move on.
I think isn't he supposed to be next up after Yard for Beterbiev?
Yes, I believe you.
That'd be a nice little string of fights for Beterbiev if he could get Bivol in between them.
Yeah, but Bivol may be able to handle him. We don't know yet.
Yeah. Oh, right, well, it's not a given that Beterbiev wins against Bivol for sure.
Yeah. Right, we better move on, guys. Arsen Guli-Marian defeats Alexei Igorov to retain the WBA Super Cruiserweight title. Did anybody watch this fight?
No, I didn't. I didn't see it either.
Did you see it, Nathan?
No, I didn't know.
We'll have to post it on the site and then talk about it next week then if we want to talk about it, because I'd like to see it. I'm just saying
that he won. All we're saying is that he won, and that's it.
I thought we called him to win the last week, I think.
Yeah.
We called that fight that he would win that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we called it, so our call came true.
Okay. In other news, Leo Santa Cruz and Lee Wood, the WBA have ordered a consolidation fight.
That's a good fight.
Again, because they had called this before, but Leo was supposed to fight Ray Vargas, and I think Leigh Wood was going to fight Laura, but then all of those plans got switched because Ray Vargas is about to move up to fight for the WBC
Yeah.
super
They
featherweight title.
apparently the WBA have given them 2 weeks to sort the contracts out and get everything. I don't think this fight happens.
Well, I don't know either. Why wouldn't it happen?
Is Leo Santa Cruz got any belts in any other divisions or not?
He
No.
only got the WBA featherweight title. He's the super champ, and Leigh Wood is the world champ.
Yeah. I'm surprised the WBA avoided it. I mean, obviously we know they want to consolidate the belts, but Leigh Wood hasn't even defended that title.
He did against Conlon.
Yeah, that's the only defense he's made.
I mean, he only won it 2 fights ago.
Yeah,
that's right. But Leigh Wood
he can't. Like, this will be his second defense. Like I said, he was supposed to fight Laura, but I forgot why he didn't fight Laura.
Because he got injured, didn't he? Supposedly, or did he? Or did he? Yeah.
No, he didn't fight Laura. He was supposed to fight Laura.
He was injured. Yeah.
Wood was injured, or Laura was injured?
It was Laura, yeah, but the fight was cancelled. The WBA, he got injured. The WBA wanted a letter from his doctor to prove it that he couldn't fight. That's why the fight didn't happen. But I think the truth is he didn't want that fight because he lost.
Because I don't know if you remember earlier this year, the WBA had ordered Santa Cruz versus Wood, but then they gave him an exemption to let Santa Cruz fight Ray Vargas and Leigh Wood fight Laura. But then those fights didn't happen, so now they saying y'all got to fight each other now.
Right.
I'll tell you why I don't think the fight happens. I think Cruz will either move up away or fight somebody else. I just don't think there's any money in that fight thing. Santa Cruz. He only wants the big fights, not fights like this.
If they bring Leigh Wood to California, so Leo Santa Cruz could sell out in a little arena in California. So,
for sure he can. For sure.
So if they bring it to California, Leigh Wood ain't gonna pass up the opportunity, saying I'm gonna only fight in the UK or something. So I mean, it's Leigh Wood is not he's dangerous because he hits hard or whatever the case is, but he's not that dangerous of a fight that I think Leo Santa Cruz will want to avoid. It's possible it don't happen, but I don't think
Let's be honest. You're not going to hear like what I'm going to say, but I actually believe Leigh Wood has a real chance in this fight.
I do too.
Yeah, because Santa Cruz has already lost to Carl Frampton, hasn't he?
He lost the tank. He lost
as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's a fighter he used to be. I believe the timing's right. If Leigh Wood wants to,
I mean, Leigh Wood could win the fight. That's definitely a possibility. All I was saying is I don't think Leigh Wood's reputation or his style makes people want to avoid him.
I agree. I concur.
I do have the WBA rankings in front of me here,
and I think Leo Santa Cruz like taller than Leigh Wood and got a longer reach?
Yes,
about 3 inches, 3 or 4 inches.
He is.
Yeah, I've looked at the WBA rankings here. If he doesn't fight, I mean, Lara's gone all the way down to 11 now. There's Mick Conlon at 6, Brandon Figueroa, Thomas Patrick Ward is the number 1. He's a British fighter.
I mean, hey, if Leo Santa Cruz versus Leigh Wood don't happen, I could see Leigh Wood versus who you just said.
Look, yeah, but Lara's even more dangerous than Leigh Wood. And it would sell. That fight would sell. Both Mexican. That fight would sell. Be an easier sell.
It would sell.
Yeah, but for sure. If Laura fights Ward for that number 1 position back, while Santa Cruz faces Wood, then Laura could be 2 fights away from the title.
Yeah, definitely.
And that'll be an all Mexican clash in the South, like right where Tom lives at.
It would be a fiesta, amigo.
Yes.
It'd be a big deal. because Leo is very popular here. Leo is actually a very nice guy. I met him once, and he's just really a nice family man. You know, he
He's
has
a
a
Mexican
beautiful
American,
wife
isn't
and kids. Yeah, yeah. He's just a nice guy, and he was a darling with the WBC, I guess, until he lost his title,
he? Yeah.
and because he was a WBC champion.
I thought it was WBA.
He was WBA champion at featherweight before.
Wasn't he WBC before that?
I
I
don't
thought
believe
it was Gary. Wasn't Gary Russell was the WBC champ for years?
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay. So they never. I guess they never fought. He never fought Gary Russell, right?
no, that would be a nice one.
Yeah, he
Let
was
me see.
WBC super bantamweight type champion for
Let me
2
see
years.
something. He was
Yeah,
And then
that
ranked.
he might have been.
WBA.
It might have been when he was at the lower, not at featherweight, at super bantamweight.
Yeah, Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah, that was correct.
Leo Santa Cruz. I'm pretty sure he was hooked up with the WBC at one point.
Yeah, maybe a super bantam or bantam.
Yeah,
But
the lower weight.
isn't he a 3-division champ or something?
Yeah, he's
Might be
38-2 and one draw.
Yeah,
And let's see, Expo Center Cuevo, 2008. What was he? When he was? Let me search this page.
I was at
WBC.
that Frampton fight, the first one.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, that was when Mikey came back too. When Mikey,
Yeah.
after he took the long layoff, Mikey was on was the co-main event.
Right. He won the WBA Super World Featherweight in 2019. So, and he won the WBC Diamond Featherweight belt, which was vacant in 2015, and the WBA Super Featherweight. He was a dual champion at one point.
Well, he was the diamond champ, so he was like he was supposed to be Gary Russell's mandatory.
Yeah. See, he was the world. He did fight Jesus Ruiz Garcia in 2015. He was the WBC World Super Bantamweight. He was that for a while. He was IBF, USBA Super Bantamweight. Wow. So he got a lot of wins back then. IBF World Bantamweight.
Yeah, so yeah.
He's a
Was he a
multi-divisional
4-weight champion or 3?
I think 3 here. I think it went all the way down to Bantam, Super Bantam.
Then featherweight and super featherweight.
Then super featherweight. Yeah, featherweight. So what is he campaigning now as what? As
Featherweight.
Junior. He's
gone back down to featherweight.
Yeah,
yeah, he's at 126.
That's the same belt he lost to Cole Frampton and won back again.
Yeah.
Right. His last fight was against Carbajal, and he won a unanimous decision. He hasn't had a lot of knockouts in his past few fights. He's only had decisions and been KO'd in the past 5. 4 decisions, 1 KO. He was KO'd.
And he throws like 1,000 punches a fight close to.
Yeah.
High volume puncher.
He's, I think he's, how old is he here? 30. How old is this guy? He was born, doesn't
34.
say when he was. 34. Yeah, that's old for a guy in that weight.
Right.
That's old for that weight.
Let's move on anyway. Right. Terence Crawford must fight Boots Ennis or Spence in 2023 or he'll vacate the WBO belt.
Well, he's got to fight one of those guys. I mean, this whole thing with Spence fell up, went to pieces. And what are you going to do? I don't know if he actually had a $20 million guarantee from a private firm. Remember, that's what he was telling Spence. Forget it. Let's just do it through this guy. And Spence said, no, not without Al. And that killed that. So I don't know what is going to happen with him. He just wants a big money fight.
I'm trying to figure out if it was Teddy Atlas or Sean Porter when they were saying that, Bud Crawford coming to the table with Al as a boxer and not a businessman. Al was like, you don't know what you're talking about. And that's part of the reason why he didn't want to do the deal with whatever Bud was bringing to the table. Because he's like, Bud, you're not a businessman. You're a boxer. Let the businessmen do the business and you just box. And I guess Bud was like, I am not dealing with that. And that's the reason why I'm going to fight Avanasian. Now, it's strange because I don't think Bud would vacate his title if he has to fight Boots. I think he's more than willing to fight Boots.
He's
But
willing to
who
fight
would
anybody.
right? But who would put up money now that he doesn't have a promoter? Who's gonna put up money for a purse bid? Boots' promoter don't have money because Boots don't have he's not with PBC. He's with Showtime.
He'd have to go to
Terence
the Arab
Crawford
Emirates.
should have found a promoter. This BLK thing. Look, don't
Now,
get me
if
started.
BLK willing to pay Bud 10 million to fight Avanasian, they might be willing to put up 10 million to fight Boots.
Yeah, possible.
He should have got on with Dazan. He should have got on Eddie Hearn's. Yeah.
But Eddie Hearn ain't offering him nothing.
Well, he should have done. He's a big name.
But he can't go with somebody if they ain't offering you something.
Yeah.
He's like the black horse of the division. He's all by his own. Nobody. He's going out there sailing that ship by his own.
But he's 34 now. The clock's running very thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, but he's got to do something soon. Him not fighting Spence is a travesty.
Yeah, that I still think it happens. I just think that it was just we had a bump in the road because they were on the. We all see they were all willing to negotiate. There was offers being thrown around, so there was discussions on Spence versus Bud happening. Bud went
I can
off
see
in
Crawford
another
going
direction,
to
wanting to
154.
get greener pastures for the moment.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm. What was that, Nathan?
Crawford will probably end up at 154. I could see him going up to 154.
That's a big weight for him.
That'd be like the way Pacquiao was at welterweight.
Right. Yeah, too small for the weight.
Yeah, I mean, like size wise, he'll be able, he won't be too undersized, but he would just as far as height and reach, but as far as weight, he'll be at 154.
He started at lightweight, didn't he? He started at lightweight. So.
Yeah, at fight nights, he might be 160 the most.
Well, he's also given up some strength too,
Okay. In other news, WBA have ordered Stanios against Virgil Ortiz.
Well, that's a good fight. I mean, it'll be a good fight for Ortiz. He doesn't have a lot of fights, but he's fighting a solid opponent who's not going to just fold out of nowhere. Stanios will give him a good fight.
Yeah, because Stanios don't want to lose his position.
Exactly. So he's got everything to gain and nothing to lose. And Virgil has, everything to gain. So I think it's good. I think both guys will be prepared for this fight. Ortiz needs to be tested by somebody really good like that. Can't just be
I don't know.
People out.
I'm not. Since it's been ordered, that means it's gonna have to go to a purse bid, need be.
Right.
Yeah. Oscar might be willing to pay more to have Ortiz fight on DAZN than Al would have Stanionis fight on PBC.
Yeah, I would say that Oscar would want that fight to happen for Ortiz. Ortiz is his guy, right?
Yeah, on that platform. So, because if it goes to purse bid, you got to figure they're both going to want to bid on it. Both those camps are going to bid. And DAZN with Oscar, they'll probably put more money behind Ortiz than Al would put behind Stanionis. So,
I agree. I think it's a good move for Oscar to do that.
Okay. Moving on. Chris Eubank Jr. will be fighting Liam Smith on pay-per-view on the 21st of January. This is a good fight, but it's not a pay-per-view fight.
Is he coming in at 160?
Yeah, it's 12 rounds at middleweight.
160, no catch weights or anything, right?
No, just 160.
Yeah, well, good, because that's where he should be fighting, and it'll be good. They're two solid fighters. I think Eubank has the edge in punching power, though.
Oh yeah, he's a better fighter.
Yeah, he's probably the stronger one. He's been at super middleweight.
I believe Liam Smith is very good. They're both 33 and 34. I think Liam Smith has a lot of miles on the clock. Very good fighter, but he's not a middleweight.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Well,
I just think Eubank's too good for him.
Yeah. Well, what?
Eubanks should be bigger than him in the fight.
A lot bigger.
So, does anybody know if Conor Benn has stayed retired or what?
No, he's given up his license, but he'll probably go to a different federation the same way Derek Chisel did the Luxembourg Board of Boxing, which means
Oh
you
my!
can fight in Britain, but as if you've got a different license, you can still fight in Britain.
Oh well, okay.
There's
Thanks
nothing
for
that
the
the
update.
British Board of Control can do to stop it.
Well, okay. But he's definitely, copped to what happened there. So
Yeah.
he's got to
Well,
live
if you
with
give
it.
your license in, then that you're as good as guilty. Right. In other news, the WBO have ordered Zanabek to fight
Who?
Jamie Munguia.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's a great fight. I think we're going to find out what both guys are really made of in that fight.
Yeah.
Because there's no quitting Munguia and there's no quitting Janibek, and they're both very good athletes. And it's going to be a good fight.
I think Munguia's got the edge for me. He's got the edge in this.
Well, he's got the size. He's got power. But Janibek is a southpaw and is a very good boxer. And, it's going to be good.
Janibek, I want to say Janibek will probably be the best boxer that Munguia has faced so far.
Well, yeah, I agree.
And this is another situation. It's ordered. It's two different camps. Bob Arum has Zanabek. Oscar has Munguia. So it might come down to who's going to bid more. I don't know if Bob Arum's willing to pay a lot of money to keep the Janibek fight on ESPN when he could just be like, all right, go fight on the zone and bring that title back.
Right. I don't know either, to be honest with you. I have no idea how they're going to do it, but I just want to see the fight. And what platform is it on? Is it going to be the Zone?
Well, like I said, it would. If it's ordered, they would need to work it out. Bob Arum might be willing to give Zanabek up and let it be on the Zone, because Munguia is on the Zone and Zanabek is on ESPN.
Right, you said that. I'm sorry, I blanked out for a minute there. I got distracted by these beautiful dancers in this dance studio. All right, well, cool. What do you have to say about this?
Adrian Broner is up to his old tricks again, looking slow and not being in fighting shape.
That's too bad.
Well,
I mean,
not for nothing. We could be seeing, like, this is his first training video, so he's starting his gym routine now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
When's his first fight?
January sometime.
His first fight is definitely in January?
I'm not sure if it is, but it'll be around February, probably a little bit later. But I don't expect much from his comeback at all. I'm expecting nothing from his comeback, to be honest.
Yeah, they might give him a escalate in pay. Like, it's supposed to be a 10 fight, 10 million.
Some easy fights for these 3 fights, and then after that, then.
Yeah, like the last of the 3 fights might be the big fight.
Based on his last performance last year, it's terrible, that Santiago performance.
If he can, but he's also an obsessive gambler.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. Yeah. I love Adrian Broner. I think Adrian Broner, he's a great fighter, but he just wasted a lot of his talent, and he fought at too heavy a weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
This is what happens.
147 was too much.
Yeah.
This is what happens. You get a young fighter who has all the potential, 4 lightweight champion.
And like, it's a whole bunch of other, mitigating circumstances that cause AB to be at the, where he is right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure.
It's
Like,
just unfortunate. You know, I don't think it has a happy ending for him. I really don't.
that's too bad.
Well,
You
he
know,
just got a $10 million 3-fight deal, so hopefully,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know
that'll
what
be
the.
awesome. Then he'll be back again. Yeah.
Anyway, what's next?
yeah, really. What are we going to say about him? You know, that we haven't said before.
Joshua Boapsi and Dimitri Bivol is apparently possible for 2023.
Well,
Ah,
he's
dearie me.
he's the next mandatory.
Yeah, I just think to myself, nah, he's not nowhere near it. Nowhere near.
Yeah, he's
No,
not in the
but
class. He's
hey,
not in that class.
No, of course he's not. Not at all.
I mean, Eddie might not do anything yet for him. Like he might not push the issue.
He needs to win a European belt or something. He needs more. You know, what will end up happening is what always happens: a vacant belt will be stuck in somewhere. You know, for me, that's the only way he's going to win a world title.
You know, these guys, they show promise. We have so many divisions. They show promise, and then they're rushed to a title. You know, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter, in my opinion, if on the way up you lose a couple of fights, as if you're learning. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of guys became great champions that lost. Dwight
Nigel
Braxton
Benn,
lost.
yeah.
Nigel Benn. I mean, lots
John
of
Ruiz.
guys.
yeah. And like in my opinion, to get somebody properly ready, you should like get them facing various styles
Yeah.
so that
The perfect fighter I would use as a proof that you can come back is Marvin Hagler. Didn't he lose a couple of fights before he won the world title?
Yeah, he lost two.
yeah,
That's what I'm
one of them
saying.
was like controversial though. I think.
He
Sorry?
lost to Bobby Boogaloo Watts, and he lost to the bald
Did,
guy. What's his name? The bald guy who was great.
but he
Who
didn't
was?
he redeem one of those?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
redeemed both of them actually.
Oh, okay.
Came back and knocked out Watts, and then it was.
Did you guys cover his careers pretty comprehensive? Obviously, I didn't watch boxing in the 80s, you know what I mean? So I don't know a lot about it.
I was more of towards the like ending in the 80s part, or late 70s, early 80s part.
Okay.
Oh, I watched it all. I watched it since the 50s when I was a kid. So the 80s was a great era for boxing because
Yeah.
all the top guys fought each other.
Well,
To
he was
me,
talking more specifically about Hagler. Like, did we follow his career
Oh,
like
I
in
did for
depth?
sure. Yeah,
at
I did.
these older fights from the 80s, it means nothing to me because I don't know who half of them are. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I saw Sugar Ray versus Hagler on closed circuit at Apollo Theater, and that's the same place I saw Michael Spinks fight Mike Tyson.
Oh, yeah. Nice. The one in Manhattan, the Apollo in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I've been down there. That's a landmark theater. My grandfather used to sell life insurance to like Ella Fitzgerald and
yeah,
Sammy Davis and
yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr. down there. He used to live
Oh,
down there.
okay.
You know, there were two Harlems. There was the African American and the Italian
Oh,
Harlem.
well, I didn't
They
know that.
Well,
existed. They coexisted.
now they got Spanish Harlem too, so don't forget.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
guys,
I'm going way back though, before
Yeah.
Puerto
let's
Rico got
let's move
involved.
on. We'll talk
Yeah.
about this here. John Pascal has been arrested on suspicion of drunk driving. Not only is he a drug cheat, he's now a drunk as well.
What are you giving the guy? You know, he's a former. You know, what are you going to do with him? I mean, fighters take a lot of blows to the head and
Yeah.
steroids and all this stuff. What do you expect them to be, an angel?
No,
But
I'm
he's
just
fuck.
saying this is hilarious.
Well,
But I
everybody.
was looking and I'm like suspicion of drunk driving. What, like they couldn't tell he was drunk, but he didn't take a breathalyzer.
Oh, he
He refused
refused.
the breathalyzer.
Oh boy, that's bad.
So when you refuse the breathalyzer, that's like a admission of guilt, I guess, in some
Well,
counties.
this was in Canada, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, because he's Canadian.
Yeah. So I don't know what the laws are there, but I'll tell you one thing though. You know, anytime you're arrested, you're considered innocent until proven guilty. So that's why they say suspicion.
The worst thing that can happen to him is he'd be deported to Haiti where he comes from. Right.
Well, we'll see.
I
What
don't
happens
know.
when
He
we
a
get-
citizen of Canada.
Yeah, they won't deport him. They'll probably take his license away. Or
Right.
do
In
what they
other
gotta do.
news, Salita Promotions have signed a fighter called Thunderhands.
Yeah. Do you know
Never heard
anything
of it.
about him? Never heard of
That
him.
wasn't that Hulk Hogan's name in Rocky 3?
What was it?
Thunderlips.
No, Thunder Lips. That was
Yeah.
his name.
Thunderlips?
So
I don't know.
Thunderhands, we swiftly moving on.
Hmm. Well, maybe we'll hear from Thunderhands one of these days. We'll see.
Yeah. Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis are braced for an agonising split. We've known about this for months.
I don't know, man, because the way you're saying, listen, we'll see. We'll see when Tank fights on in January. Who's the promoter?
Yeah. There's a tweet that Gervonta Davis wrote. It says, I will read it in my terrible American accent. When are you going to give me the terminations, bitch? Termination papers, motherfucker. Right, okay.
Do we know
Moving
why they're having a split? Do we know?
No.
Well, I know when Gervonta had some public outburst, of violence with his, I guess, his baby mama, and there was something else. Floyd was like getting in there. Floyd has his own past with stuff like that,
Yeah.
and he was telling him, you got to get yourself under control. And probably they're going at it in that regard. He doesn't want to listen to what Floyd has to tell him. That's probably has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Because that caused friction between them.
The problem is they're so much alike, those two. And I think that's the problem. I think Mayweather sees himself in Gervonta Davis.
I don't know. Mayweather came up with a boxing
They're very
family.
close.
Gervonta Davis
Those
came up
two.
in the streets.
But Mayweather is like the dad he never had. He even said that. Mayweather's like too close to him, it's like family.
Well, then he should listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, if he's giving him good advice.
I agree. I mean, he definitely has more experience with life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem a lot of people have, right, is they would believe that it worked for them, so it has to work for others the same way, and not everybody. You know what I mean?
Good point.
So if Floyd is telling Tank, yo, it worked for me doing it this way, it's like, yeah, but that's your way, and it was a different time, and it was like so many other variables that might come into play.
Right.
What's
I
next?
agree.
Right. We've got the fights for the weekend. I'm going to start on the bottom. This is the Dillian White, Jermaine Franklin Cup. There's only a couple of fights on this. I'll start with one of them. Fabio Wardley will be fighting Nathan Gorman for the British heavyweight title. This is an interesting fight, because we know that Nathan Gorman has stamina issues, but he also has the superior experience because he's been in there with a former world champion,
and he's strong.
And the difference, and for Wardley, he's a guy who can knock people out, but in terms of boxing skills, he doesn't have a great deal of boxing skills. He has no defense. He's just a big guy and he's quite a small heavyweight as well. He just walks forward, throws shots. That's the best. Whereas Gorman has got better skill. He can counter the shots. So I'm going to go for Gorman to win this fight.
Me too.
I agree. I think Gorman. Yeah, I would say the same thing. We're all in unison on that.
But if you look at Fabio Wardley in his fight, I watched him when he fought Eric Molina. He nearly got floored twice. He made no attempt to cover the shots. He's open, fighting open, very open.
Well,
I don't think there's a lot there with Fabio Wardley.
Well, he'll be exposed or he'll win. We'll have to see what happens. But I'm going with Gorman.
Yeah, I'm going with Gorman also.
Yeah, me too. I think that I think there's
The
just too much
experience will be too
experience and
much.
power.
Too much experience.
Well,
Yeah, I think
hopefully
he's more
Gorman's in
skilled.
shape. Hopefully he's in shape. He's better be in shape.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, for sure. What other fights do we have?
Dillian White against Jermaine Franklin.
Now I know what I put on the chat, right? But then there was
Yeah.
some news that came out that I've seen.
What's
Number
that?
one, Dylan White is lighter than Jermaine Franklin, so he's going to be This is also the heaviest out. His last fight, he was 20 pounds heavier than this one. He was 277, but that's the most he's ever weighed ever. He's usually coming in around 240-ish. So him being 257 is pretty heavy for him. I don't know if that's good for him. He's going to be trying to come in with a little bit more strength and stand there and try to fight Dylan White, or
I'll tell you one thing I've noticed. Dillian White came in at like 255. What I've noticed was I'm going to disregard his last performance against Tyson Fury. I'm going to go off the Povetkin one. I'm not going to go off the Tyson Fury thing because Tyson Fury is just the best. Yeah. And
you're gonna go off the second Povetkin fight?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go off. Yeah. I'm not going to go off the Fury because Fury would do that to most fights. So we can discount that fight. Jermaine Franklin, I watched his fight against Pavel Sauer yesterday. And this is the guy that was knocked out in one round by Nathan Gorman. To me, that tells me everything I need to know. And he took him to one. Jermaine Franklin has very quick hands. His footwork is not bad. He's got quick footwork. He's got good power. But I just don't. But his defense isn't anything special. It's no better than Dillian's. So for me, I think because Dylan's got experience. I mean, if those quick hands are going to cause Dillian a few problems, So I'm going to pick Dillian to win in about 7-8 rounds by a late stoppage.
I think Dillian is a stronger puncher, and he's got a wicked left hook if he can land it.
Yeah,
so, and Franklin is a little bit sloppy with his defense.
Yeah, he comes in, unguarded a lot of times. When he comes in to attack, you can catch him. I'm not sure if Dylan White is a great counter puncher to be able to utilize that, but Jermaine Franklin, he does, because I had looked at the tapes, and he, like I said, he's heavy this time. So whatever we've seen in the last fights, he might not be doing this time around because he's going to be like 15 pounds heavier than he was in those fights.
I think Trevor Bryan would beat Jermaine Franklin.
Well, wait a minute. What the former champion Daniel Dubois, what was his name?
He beat
Trevor Bryan.
Yeah, Trevor Bryan already beat Franklin, didn't he? Didn't they fight?
Nah, Franklin's undefeated.
Franklin's unbeaten.
Did he beat Bryan?
No. Bryan was unbeaten.
They never fought. Franklin fought. I want to say Jerry Forrest.
That's Jerry Forrest and Rydell Booker. Yeah,
that's who.
And Rydell Booker, right?
Right, that's who I'm confusing him with. Okay, well, I'm up for the fight. I think though White is on the downslide though. We're gonna have to see how he does.
He is. He's gonna have more losses. This is the sort of fight he could get caught, but I just don't feel.
Yeah, but he has losses to champions, to guys,
good fighters. Yeah.
Yeah, but he also has wins, over them.
But he also has losses. I do believe that by the end of his career, you're going to be looking at like 8 or 9 losses for Dillian White, similar to what Chisora's got.
Right.
The thing that made me also, it's like when the trainer of Jermaine Franklin, when they was doing the press conference, right, and the trainer was saying something, it kind of like easily rattled Dillian White. Dillian White was like rattled and was going on and talking mad crap to the old guy. I'm like, yo, this dude looked like he don't sound confident that he's, like he's prepared, but
Do you want me to tell you what it is? More frustration because he's pissed off with his last performance and he wants to hurt Jermaine Franklin. He wants to take it out on him. And this is and that old guy kept on going on, is giving him all the motivation he needs to knock Franklin's head off. That's all he's doing. And if you piss off a guy like that, it's never going to end well. You're fighting.
And the other thing that might that made me say, you know what, Dylan White might win this. I didn't know Buddy McGirt was his trainer.
Yeah, I did. We did bring this up the other week, but I don't think I did. I probably didn't. So for me,
But yeah,
that
Buddy,
changes everything.
I'm like, oh, Buddy McGirt is his trainer. Then Buddy seems to revamp these veterans' careers.
So what we've seen, what Buddy McGirt did with Kovalev, he changed from an attacking style to a back foot fighter, didn't he, by using his jab more. So Dillian, we know Dillian can box. Hopefully Buddy McGirt has improved his footwork because his footwork is terrible.
Yeah, but what's it called? Isn't Buddy McGirt also Zanabek's trainer?
Yes, he is, yeah.
Yeah.
And he should also train Dillian White as well. I mean, sorry, he should also train Anthony Joshua as well. Joshua would benefit from Buddy McGirt.
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
Do you believe you can make someone like Dillian White into a boxer? Or is he always going to be that brawler? He's always going to be that brawler, isn't he?
I mean, he has some boxing fundamentals. His boxing fundamentals are pretty good. He just doesn't have that pedigree of a long amateur career and
he doesn't have the punch resistance anymore.
And I think what I think is like Buddy McGirt is a good corner man in the ring trainer.
Yes.
Like he knows what to tell you in order to like win.
Yeah, he does.
You know what I like about Buddy McGirt? I listened to his corner work when Kovalev fought Pulev's brother. He was saying, you need to stop snatching your punches. You need to jab him and walk and move, stick and move. Jab him, hit him a few shots and move on. Move out of the way. Don't fight him. Just jab him. He said, you've got him on the end of the jab. Just keep jabbing and you'll win this fight.
Right.
Is Dillian really going to listen to that advice? That's what I do think,
Yeah, hopefully he will, because I mean he got a way of telling him like, yo, you gotta listen to me, man. You're not if he's not listening, hopefully he will follow Buddy's instructions so Buddy don't gotta get on his case, so to speak. But like even with Zanabek, he was when he was fighting Bentley, he was having to tell him like, yo, get on your job because this guy's coming in doing this and this and this. You gotta get him, beat him to the punch. You gotta be, But hey,
what Dillian needs to do, he needs to get stuck in. He needs to look spectacular, and he needs to look good. If he doesn't look good, I mean, the winner of this will get Joshua.
Is this on pay-per-view?
No, it's not. It's on DAZN. It's for free to air on DAZN.
Okay. And what about the this next fight we're about to talk about?
That was already on tonight. That's I don't know who won that, and so I went.
I mean, the other one that's going to be on at the same time as Dylan White and
You mean the Zach Parker fight?
Yeah, is that on pay-per-view?
No, it's just normal free to air on BT Sport.
Are you thinking of Progress and Zepeda tomorrow? Is that what you're thinking?
No, that's another fight we'll come to. We're going to talk about the Zach Parker John Ryder fight, which is for the WBO Super Interim belt.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm going to go with John Ryder because he's got superior experience and he's got big wins over a former world class fighters like Danny Jacobs.
He ain't win that fight.
Yeah, well, he didn't really, but
I know, but he got the refs gave it to him. So hey, yeah, I would go with John Ryder too, because didn't he got beat or cheated out of the Callum Smith fight. But so they gift him the Danny Jacobs fight. But yeah, he should win. He should beat Zach Parker.
But to be fair to Zach Parker, he's very heavy-handed. That could be the difference. He's young, he's 10 years younger, and he's stronger as well.
And he never lost. He don't know how to lose.
But the way they're building Zach Parker, they're building him to be the next Callum Smith or the next Carl Froch. That's how they're building him. But I don't think they're doing a very good job of it, to be absolutely honest.
Well, if he wins this, if he does win this fight, they have a lot to build with then. That's probably why they're matching him now. You got to move up and take the
if he
chance.
looks spectacular, if he knocks John Ryder out in 2 or 3 rounds, then then we know he's ready.
Well, if that's a big ask, we'll have to see if it happens, because John Ryder's not going to go away easy. That's for sure.
Yeah. He ain't getting knocked out in no 2 or 3 rounds by him. But Zach Parker does hit hard, like Nathan was saying. So if he is get beat up for a few rounds.
I don't know. It's going to depend on a bunch of things. Stamina, who's landing. That's what makes this fight interesting, I think.
What makes this fight interesting is you've got a guy who's in his mid-30s who's been there, more or less done it kind of thing, against a guy who's up and coming, who's a future world champion. The way they're putting it,
But Ryder hasn't taken a lot of punishment, as far as I know.
No, he hasn't. But he's also he's one of those guys, he's like a Rocky guy. Like, who's a bit like Rocky Fielding when he won his world title, No one expected that.
Just as an aside, we have a new TV series here called TALKK with Sylvester Stallone, and it's great. Guys, watch it if you can. He's amazing in this, Stallone, and funny, and he's really doing some great acting. But anyway, that's an aside. Back to John Ryder. I like that fight.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny because I got Paramount Plus, the app, right? And that's been the main picture all the time when I turn it on is TALKK, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch it. I just didn't get around. I might watch it tonight.
Check it out. Let me know if you like it.
Yeah.
The thing I
like Sylvester.
Before we move on, the thing I like about Stallone, every generation loves that man. Whether you're born in '82 like I was, or like you were, Spencer, in the '70s, every generation can relate to him in some way, especially with the Rocky.
Well, what you see with him is what you get. I did one film with him. He was in I forget the name of the film, was with Dolly Parton, and he's just a regular guy. He's a huge movie star, but what you see, the way he acts, he's not a phony guy.
No, I know he's not.
He's not. He's kind of real, and he's likable, and he has a good sense of humor.
Right, we'll come back to this afterwards. Jose Cepeda will be fighting Regis Progress for the WBC vacant WBC super lightweight belt. I've got Progress to win this fight.
Yeah, I would think Regis too.
I would agree with that, except Cepeda has KO'd almost everybody he's fought and only lost 2 decisions.
Yeah.
And one of them he should have won. I think he beat Ramirez in my opinion. But
it's not. I don't think it's going to be
not an easy fight.
Park.
It's not an easy fight. Yeah, this one I'm going through my head. I'm like, yeah, Regis has been a champion, but Cepeda is no pushover, man. So
I can't believe Progress is 33 years old. I didn't think he was as old as that. I thought he was a bit younger than that.
Well, COVID derailed his career for a while.
Yeah, the past, since he lost to Josh Taylor, he's had a few fights, but his career has been not the way you would think it should have been.
Not as spectacular as it was. And then he won a fight, I forget, against another English guy.
That Progress fight was 3 years ago.
Yeah, but he fought was it Josh Taylor? Josh Taylor actually knocked him down, and they didn't give him the knockdown.
Yeah, that was a close fight. I think he won that by split decision, Josh Taylor.
He did. Yeah. But still, you got to stay active.
He beat Tyrone McKenna last time out, a Northern Irish fighter for Northern Ireland, which was just a warm-up fight,
I hear you. So what else do we have?
We don't have anything else. Really, I don't think. Let me see what else if I've got.
You got the verdict for the Harlem Eubank fight?
I don't know. Let me have a look. Let me check. Harlem Eubank is the cousin of Chris Eubank Jr.
So that's his nephew.
Yeah.
That's Senior's nephew then.
Let me double check. Harlem, he won his fight tonight against Tom Farrell.
Okay,
And
so he
Liam
won.
Williams fought tonight as well. Liam Williams fought tonight as well.
Damn, it's windy out there.
The one who lost to Eubank, yeah. But that's really all we got, really. Let me see if there's anything in boxing scene. Give me a second. Boxing scene. There it is. No, there's nothing.
All right. Well, that was nice.
Well, anyway, guys, it was a great show.
Yeah.
And Nathan, we're doing it next week, right?
Yeah, we'll be back next week.
All right.
Well, you guys have a good week.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Take care.
Later, guys.
Bye.
See you later.